Oh, what's up, fam? I'm waiting in the cell phone lot. I've got a long time. I got here pathologically early, so I got like a long time to sit here on the cell phone lot at Logan in Boston. Someone hop on in. I'll chat with you. Whew. Long day, guys. I woke up in Buffalo. Now I am in Boston. Just for a quick bit, I got to pick up my cats and my luggage from my wife.
What's up?
What's up, Tiger?
How you doing, man? You going cross country?
Yeah, I finished. I'm done. I did it. It's over.
Nice, nice, nice. What was the just like in general? What was the most like interesting part of the whole drive? Like maybe it's a locale or a person or an event. Like what was
I mean,
awesome?
I got to see my boy Yasha, who is my roommate, like probably like my best friend, who I haven't seen in a while. I haven't seen him since like 2020 when he came down to Texas. I saw him in Omaha, and that was really fun. We stayed up really late. I got super hungover the next day. I had a great time. I had a blast. I was like, it was so fun. Like we were just like really like we just vibe on the same shit. Like I was showing him all the music I got into since I last saw him, and he was showing me stuff. And I still got to go through the list of stuff. Like he sent me a list when we were done, but we were listening to so much good shit. I don't know. We just always vibed really well. We like totally vibe, like just get along like perfectly well. He's like my brother, so I was really happy to see him. That's like just personal, I guess. But like there's other things I really enjoyed too.
Yeah, man. Oh, that's awesome, dude. Like especially with being on the internet and stuff, like it's just good to catch up with old friends from like earlier parts of your life.
Yeah,
Like we
I'm so
we can get caught up in like online friend stuff, but like when you go back to your hometown, there's like
well.
those
It's kind of
guys, and like
funny
you
because
haven't seen them.
Jake Yasha was my first. We call him like we had our Russian names because he studied Russian with me at NYU because like I was really into it, so he started taking classes in it too, and we both got really into it. So it was like good times. But we took a ton of classes together. It was super fun. But he was like one of my first real internet friends actually because we both went to NYU, but we met in a Last.fm. I forget who made the group. Someone made a Last.fm group for like NYU freshmen of that year, and I met him on that. Like I thought, like we like were messaging on that, and I hung out with him like day one. I got to New York, and we were just like best friends immediately. So my real friends and my internet friends have always sort of mixed, even back to like that was like 2012. Uh, wait, yeah, 2000. Holy shit, I'm old. That was 10 years ago. Oh my god. Yeah, I was eight.
He's a boomer. He's a
Oh
boomer.
man, I'm feeling it, dude. Actually, I feel like I've completed my hero's journey right now. Actually, like I was telling my dad this. I was like, I don't think I'm the
Interesting.
protagonist of my life anymore. I'm not the protagonist of my own life anymore. Like I figured out what I was searching for, right? Like I'm not the protagonist of my own life anymore. Like I don't want to be the protagonist of my own life anymore. I want to live for other people. I want to do things for other people. I want to I want to have kids. I want to live for other things than like for myself. I'm not really self-interested in that way anymore. I'm not searching, I'm not lost. I think when you first get out of college, like you're lost for a while because like you're just completely lied to and manipulated and shit, and it's like you just get tossed to the wolves, and it sucks. Like it's like the worst time. And then
Yeah,
if you make it
you
through
build
that
up.
though, you can I don't know, like I don't know, I held on to my innocence, I think, at least. Like I'm so thankful for everything that I have. Like I love my family. I love, I'm just like I feel good about the like at least my future. I've made my peace with the way the world is. I don't follow the laws of this world or the god of this world, but I've made my peace. Like I've accepted how reality actually is. So I feel comfortable.
Yeah, that's so good. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear. More. When you say like you're no longer the protagonist of your own life, was that like because of the drive? Were you having
Well,
those feelings before?
it's for a very like literal reason. I don't know. I'm not trying to say too much, but
Yeah, you don't need to.
but yeah. I'm not the protagonist of my own life anymore, man. I'm not, and I'm happy for that. I'm so happy. I'm so hyped.
That sounds amazing. That sounds amazing. It's always good to get back with family and reconvene and whatnot. So you're gonna be in Massachusetts for the foreseeable
Yeah,
future.
at least a year. At least a year. I don't know if yeah, at least a year for sure. At least a year. I'm saving money. Me and my wife are saving money. I mean, we both work remotely, so it doesn't really matter. Um, and we're hopefully going to be able to get a place, and we're going to try to find somewhere to settle down and stuff. So I'm excited for the future.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, I know we were talking. You occasionally tweet about potentially like going to Mexico or whatever
Yeah,
if you like settled
that's
on a direction.
um honestly, I would like to stay sort of in this area. My wife really likes the warm weather though. She doesn't like the cold that much, and like she gets very cold. She has like a type of like kind of common like syndrome or whatever, like with a blood circulation, so that like the cold is like pretty bad for her. Like I like
Sure. Yeah.
like in the winter, like if she's not like fully suited up, she's like on the verge of getting frostbite on her toes just from like walking outside, like even in like 5 pairs of socks or whatever. So I'm that worries me to a degree. And she really likes the warmth. Like she liked how hot it was in Texas. But I don't know. We have like all of our family, all of our support networks, like a lot of our friends are up here. So I don't know. My ideal really would be like somewhere like I want to move to Cleveland right now. I want to buy. They have such beautiful like houses that need someone to fix them up.
Cleveland.
Dude, Cleveland, you can buy right now an 8 bedroom, 3 bathroom, like like beautiful, like what would be a mansion now, right? If you were to get it, if you were to ask someone to build it, it would cost you so much more because it's built in like the 19th century fashion, and it's just like this beautiful building. Like there's tons of them. There's tons of them in like St. Louis. There's tons of them all over the place that have just been like kind of abandoned, or like like people have tried to like work on them a bit and may have abandoned them because like the housing market's shit. But like you can literally buy it for like 85K. You can buy an 8 bedroom house for 85K. And it's like, if you buy that for 85K, like basically, like, I mean, I want to save up so I can like fully drop like a substantial sum on, on a property or something. And then I want to put like my wife and I, like, we've been talking about like wanting to like fix up a place for a long time because like we're both like pretty crafty people. We like enjoy doing that. And I think it'd be so satisfying to take this like this like rust belt like abandoned like almost abandoned property and like make it like bring it back to life. Like I feel like that would be a very satisfying thing for me.
Well, it sounds like too, from an outside perspective, it seems like that's almost like a microcosm of your entire like
Yeah,
worldview and mission.
yeah, no, it is, and that's why I mean that's kind of why it appeals to me, right? Like that's like obviously, but I think but like our generation in general, like a lot of her friends are starting to be like, oh, I don't want to live in like a big city where I can't afford like property. Like I want to kind of settle down. So a lot of people are kind of looking now for these uh these types of opportunities, right? Like, so hopefully, like we can get together like enough people. Like my ideal here is like we don't do this all by ourselves, but we find like some of our friends or whatever who are looking to do the same sort of thing. We kind of just like try to take over, like not necessarily take over, but if you have like enough people in a group there, like you already have like a pretty stable foundation. Like let's say you're like go to the school board, like you can build like I want to have a society. I want to have that.
Yeah, you can have a little stronghold against the world in a sense if you get a bunch of people that you're aligned with and you're just like all like having families chilling in the same area,
That's like the
like getting
dream,
the
dude.
local
That's
level.
the dream, dude. That's the dream, dude. What is more the dream than like you and like a bunch of your friends like raising kids in the same area and like you can all rely on each other for things and you can trust each other and you like and like you have like cookouts and like it's like that's life, dude. That's life. That's how life ought to be, and that's how I want to have my life, like ideally.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. Sounds like you got a
That's the plan, man.
it's a good thing, and it sounds like too like getting back in this area will probably just being around family and like the the history with that area probably will help your creative
Yeah, no, I that's what
exploits
I'm
as
saying.
well.
Like, I feel like this is gonna be the first time I've spent a full year in Massachusetts since I was 18, and I grew up here. I was here for 18 years, and I haven't spent a full year here since I graduated high school. And I've always been elsewhere. I always wanted to go out into the like go see America. I was like, my dad, growing up, he was always like, "Go west, my son." He'd say stuff like that, and I did. I went all the way west. I've done a full loop of the entire continent of America, the main continent. I've been to more states, like vastly more. There's only a few states I haven't been to now, like Alaska being one of them. But I would love to go to Alaska. I'm hoping to check all of them off. There's only a few states I haven't been to. I haven't really been to the Pacific Northwest, honestly, but I don't really have a desire to go to Washington or Oregon. Maybe I don't know, but I don't know.
If you like San Francisco, like, did you like San Francisco?
It was all right. I kind of liked it. I like SoCal more than NorCal. I think I like
Okay.
I wanted I would if I was gonna move back to California, I'd want to be in the south, like where like in SoCal. I think
Yeah, yeah,
like
definitely,
San Diego
definitely.
or something. But I don't know. That probably won't happen. But we have a lot of friends over there too, so I don't know. Um,
That's where I grew up. I mean, like, yeah, it's a great area. If especially if you're near the beach, bro, got all
yeah,
the surfing
like
stuff.
I like being near water. So, but I think I might be a lake person. You know, like I like the ocean, but it's also really hard to like actually find somewhere that's like I mean affordable really I guess or like you know that you can like live in that's like near the ocean. My dad's like we're like he like you know every time we were in a city where there's no water he's like no I can't stand it I like to be able to see the water. He always like that's like I don't know he's like a beach kid that he grew up on the beach in Rhode Island, like not a great one you know in the bay but you know we're like kind of ocean people or like water people to a degree. I grew up on lakes though. Like I like going out and like drinking beers on the lake, you know, man, like on the boat, like go tubing and stuff.
Oh
I
yeah,
love that shit. I like the rope swings, like rural rope swings, you know, having a campfire and swinging into that's I'm so fucking hyped to do this with all my fucking high school friends again. I haven't seen them in a long time, but I'm catching all up with them pretty soon. So it's beautiful, man.
yeah.
I'm so happy right now. And I had a great time with my dad. I haven't seen like we haven't had that much time like together, just us like chilling. We like caught up on everything, talked about everything, you know, like it was great. Like I'm like being like a full adult, like respectably, like with your dad is really nice. Like actually my dad was impressed because in Omaha that so maybe this guy's here, this guy named Frank. I was at an Indian restaurant, me and my dad and my friend Jake, and this guy was like, "Are you?" He was like, "Are you on Twitter?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Are you Logo?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh wow." And I was like, "Yeah, do you want to sit with us?" So he like sat with us, like we all had dinner and we were chatting and stuff. But he was talking to my dad, you know, and he was like asking, he was like, when I was out smoking cigs, he was asking my dad like all these questions, like about whether or not I was like lying about my, like he's like, "Oh, so you like raised him this way? Like, what was he like when he was like a kid?" And he was like, "Yeah, this is like pretty much what he's like, you know, like, like." I don't know. It's funny.
That sounds amazing. Hey, and you've reached you know, that level of fame where random people are just like, is that Logo from Twitter?
That happens to me pretty much in every major city at some point these days.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. At least recently. Yeah, that wasn't the only time it happened on the trip. Where else? Well, I knew other people in Omaha online. So I have met with some of them because they're friends with my friend, and I've known them online for a while. I don't know. It's nice having a network of people. I know wherever I go, everywhere I went, I got like 5 DMs of people being like, "Yo, let me like, yo, let's hang, yo, let's go do this or whatever." I love that about this. This is like that's like the greatest perk of what I do. I guess is that anywhere I go, I will be able to find a friend who can show me like a local good time. I didn't get to take up as many people on that as I wanted to because I was only staying like one night in each place. We spent most of our time like in South Dakota and Wyoming because we wanted to go see Yellowstone, we wanted to go see Needles, we wanted to go see you know a bunch of stuff there. Like that's the real like road trip Americana stuff that my
Oh
dad
yeah.
wanted to see his whole life. He's never been out there before, you know. So he's been waiting even longer to see that stuff than I have. I mean, we saw Old Faithful. I was a little underwhelmed, but you know, he's been wanting to see that since he saw it like on broadcast TV as a child, like in like the like late '60s, early '70s or something, you know. So he was hyped,
See, that's the kind of shit that matters
and
at the end of the
it
day.
really is, man. Like that's what it's all about. Like there's you can still do that. Like all this shit's happening in America, but you know you can still like if you want to rough it, we roughed it, man. You can stay in real cheap area like cheap motels, and you can cross this country and you can see so many things that you would never have imagined. Like you know the landscape, like you can't take pictures of it. It doesn't translate because the scope and the majesty of it is like 360 degrees. It's a full sensory experience. Like you can't vicariously experience what it's like to drive through the entirety of Nevada in a straight shot. Like, you know, like it's a complete vibe. Like it's like driving in a fucking Mars, dude. It's like it's so nuts. Like that's just one out of like many and like the landscapes change so much. The color of the dirt change, all of the types of plants change. Everything changes. You're just like driving through this amazing tapestry of it's beautiful, man. I love America.
Yeah, when I was driving out to Austin, one of the most beautiful parts of the whole drive was that we had a sunset driving through New Mexico. Like New
New
Mexico,
Mexico's a little hot
isn't
today,
isn't anything.
but New Mexico does have really beautiful places. I agree.
Yeah, yeah. Like we were just on this flat dirt road. There's some plateaus and some, it's like, and then we see the sand turn from this orange to this like purple almost. It was insane. It was psychedelic. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, New Mexico's tight. I like the Southwest too. I don't know if I'd move there. I don't know if I'd move to the Southwest. I do like it though.
No water. No
Yeah, I
water.
guess
That's the
I
problem.
like mountains too though. I like my ideal would be like mountain lake. Like that's me. Like I like mountain lake. I'm like a mountain lake person. Like somewhere where you could go snowboarding in the winter and then you're on the boat in the summer or whatever. That would be my dream.
Yeah. Isn't that the Appalachians?
Well, I mean, I could do that right here. I mean, that's how I grew up. I went snowboarding every winter and every summer
Oh,
I was out on
gotcha.
the boat. You know, it's not like the mountains are that good here. I want to go. I want to go snowboarding in Wyoming so fucking bad. I want to go to Jackson again. Jackson, Wyoming rocks. Highly recommend Jackson, Wyoming. It's sick. It's so cool. It's so. I wasn't there in the winter, obviously, so I don't know how it get. I'm sure the powder's nice as hell, but oh, what's up, Bill?
When you
Wyoming's sick, by the way. They have the red roads. The red roads are so nice. Like it's such a cool vibe to be driving on the red highway. It's like I loved it. I was like, all the highways should be red. It's like a totally different color. They use like the local stone in the asphalt. It's cool. It looks cool.
That's sick as hell. I saw you were railing against Chicago a bit. What was that like? Can you just describe that
I
like
guess.
experience
Well,
more in depth?
it's like Lollapalooza. The traffic was a nightmare. The drivers there are insane. Everything costs a ton of money. Well, in the sense that like there's you have to. I got fucked by the tolls like a million times because I don't have like the East Midwest Easy Pass. I had my California pass. I should have thought ahead and got an Easy Pass, I guess. But shit sucked, dude. Shit sucked. The whole process of getting in and out of there sucked. The bar, like the scene in general, like I've seen Dallas sorority girls out and getting sloppy, and I've been in New York, like outside of clubs in New York, like at like 4 a.m., like when they're clean, when the people are like stumbling out and like puking on the street, and I've never seen anything as trashy as downtown Chicago. It was like straight up disgusting. It was like I was appalled. I was appalled at the antics of Chicagoans. They're like so vulgar. I don't know how to put it.
You're gonna offend Pericles if you keep talking like this.
Well, I don't know. It has beautiful architecture. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, wow, the buildings here are cool, but I was like, yeah, I would never want to live here, like ever, not in a million fucking years. It's run by the mob, dude. It's like it's a gangster city. It still is. Like you can feel it. Everything has like it's all made to like control and like patron systems for these like nonsense jobs. Like literally, you go to a dispensary in Chicago, you're gonna wait in one line, get your ID checked outside. You wait in your line, you put in your order outside. You're waiting in a line there. You get your ID checked. Then you show your ID again to the first security guard. Then you show your ID again to the second security guard. Then you're getting to another line. To get into that line, they ask you for your ID. And then at the end of that line, they ask you for your ID again, and then they point you to the clerk, and you go over to the clerk, and the clerk asks you for your ID. Now, why is it like that? No other place does it.
Sounds like Disney World, man. It sounds like they never got over the World Fair.
Pretty much, pretty much. I mean, all of America's Disney World, but what I mean is that's not how it works anywhere else. That is a specific legislation to have all of these levels of like checks and things because they were like, if we're getting this through, like the guys you got to hire security guards. We want our security guards to have more jobs. You know what I mean? Like they're just like making like legislation to force the existence of these roles because that's like how they do their patronage politics is by giving people second city bureaucrat on here is very much on point when it comes to Chicago. As I was saying, I found out that the second city meant Gomorrah because fuck that place. I don't like Chicago. I don't know. It's got the commodities exchange. Chicago probably has cool history and stuff, but I've never been interested in Chicago. I've literally never cared about Chicago or wanted to go to Chicago. I would have rather if we could have gone to like Milwaukee or like Minneapolis or like St. Paul or Cincinnati or any of these other cities. Like I don't know. I'm not a big Chicago fan.
Okay, so tell me this: like, what is your favorite non-Massachusetts, New England state?
Uh, like probably New Hampshire. I really like New Hampshire. New Hampshire is like the live free or die state. They're like the Ron Paul Maoist state in a lot of ways of New England. They're like I like New Hampshire, but New Hampshire's kind of I like the northern or like Vermont's nice, but Vermont and Wyoming are actually very similar. The two least population density heavy cities. States. I like Maine. Maine is like the south of New England, if that makes sense. Like Maine is like the real swamp yanks up there. They drink Moxie and they go, oh, you going down east, and they say stuff like that, and they it's like it's a real woodsy area. It's like real hinterland for New England.
Yeah, man. So the only state I know in this area besides Massachusetts is Vermont. I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're ever in Vermont, visit American Flatbread. It's kind of near like Warren.
Yeah,
It's the best fucking
I'm getting
pizza I've
married in
had.
Vermont. Like that's where my wedding
Right.
is. So I've
So
spent a lot of time in Vermont.
if you're like ever like near like American Flatbread, I would highly recommend that.
Nice.
It's the
Logo,
best pizza I've ever had.
have you ever listened to Discipline by King Crimson?
Yeah.
Or not like Elephant Talk?
Okay. What about it?
I was just thinking I'd really like to like create like an edit of it where it's just the like samples of the guy talking about like the city and how it's like really dangerous. I'd really like to just create an edit
Yeah.
with you just like talking about Chicago.
Oh yeah. It's the blood. You can feel the blood of the innocent calling out from the Stones there because it's a gang place. Like think about it. Like Chicago is the headquarters of the gangster capitalists. Like we literally call them the Chicago Boys. The Chicago School of Economics is right there. It's the city of Al Capone, man. It's the city of DNC gangster politics. It's the city of Pritzker. That's what it is. It's what it is. It's Tony Soprano as a fucking Democratic Socialist. DSA Tony Soprano is running Chicago. I don't like it. I don't like that vibe, personally.
By the way, I was listening back to the episode that we did, and it's really, really good. So thank you again for that.
We had a good time. Honestly,
Yeah.
I had so many more thoughts I wish I could have added, like that I had later after like marinating on what we were talking about. Because I was
Same.
playing some I was listening to some Sleep on the drive too in Nevada. I was like, this is the desert music. Like I always listen to like stoner metal when I'm driving through the desert. It's like the perfect music for driving through the desert. I think. I was like, this is the pilgrimage.
Yeah, you were talking about that a little bit. It's great. I'm really looking forward to like getting it all like properly edited and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna have the next Fairy Queen out tomorrow. Hopefully, if I can get it done in the morning, and hopefully I don't have too many other chores and like unpacking and things like that I got to do.
Awesome.
But I should have it done. And obviously the next episode I'm gonna do is Colin Clout Comes Home, and it works perfectly because that's the thing Spencer wrote right after book 3 of the Fairy Queen, and Colin Clout comes home today. I just got home.
Are we
It's
getting
Yeah,
tons
like-
of logo content the next month, 2 months, 3 months?
I don't know. It's gonna be hard because I've gotta like the wedding's finally happening at the end of the month, and that's been like a 4-year struggle I think because of COVID and various other things have made it like COVID mostly like we had to like reschedule it twice, and like I lost like a ton of money on deposits on shit, and I'm like going to be relieved when I'm done with it, but it's going to be a good time. We're going to have a huge party. It's a pretty big wedding too. Cause I've got a big family and she's got tons of friends. So it's nice. But then I don't know. I think I'm hopefully going to honeymoon. Like we're going to see maybe like Portugal and Spain, like Portugal, Spain, Morocco, ideally, what I would want to do, but we'll see what we can do. One of my aunts and uncles gave me like some kind of like vacation package thing like for the wet, like that was their gift, so we're going to use that, and you can apply that to places around the world. So hopefully we can do Spain and Portugal because that's where we want to go. We can't go to Asia. The original plan was to go to Asia, but it's way too hard to do everything to get around Asia, and like the legislation for like COVID tests and things, and so many parts of like European travel suck really fucking hard. So I don't know. It's a nightmare trying to plan anything like that these days.
CCP logo storyline has to wait another couple of years.
Dude, I'm so sad. I want to go to China so bad. It's like I wanted to go to Russia so bad, and I didn't get the opportunity to. Like, I guess I could have studied abroad, but like, I didn't want to. I didn't actually want to like. I had like I didn't want to actually like leave my friends and like my girlfriend and stuff. So I never got to study abroad. I've always wanted to go to Russia, but I feel like the chances of me being able to go see Russia are like lower and lower every single fucking year. And I feel that way about China too. And like those are like the two places I want to go to the most. On sad for me. Oh man,
Isn't there a train that goes from like? Sorry to cut you off. Isn't there a
I'm
train
just
that
gonna
goes
say I'm
from
gonna end
like?
this in like 7 minutes because that's when my wife's plane just touched down, so I want to get over there. We got a lot of luggage, and I want to make sure the cats are okay. She brought both of the cats. She's had a day too.
Trooper,
She has had a day of it, I'm sure, because getting the
trooper.
cats on there is sometimes pretty rough. But
Yeah, yeah. No, my parents are about to do that soon, moving cross country, so that the
yeah.
cats can have fun.
Yeah. Our landlord was such an asshole. She was like, "Hey, could you help me like move this mattress out? Like, we rented it. Like, she rented a dumpster. She's like, I just can't carry this mattress. Like, I wish I could have been there and done it, but I had to drive everything. She was like, "Can you help me move this mattress?" And our landlord was like, "No." So she like dragged it like by herself. Like, can you imagine that? Like, just watching like why would you do that? I don't know. I was like so appalled when she told me that.
That's just like antisocial behavior to the
Yeah, it's just
highest
like
level.
anti-human. Like I can't imagine doing that to somebody. I was like, of course I'll help you out. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. Like, I don't know. What the fuck is that? It's like we just paid you we paid you to live here, like to the for like a year, and like you can't even help us move a mattress. Like, what the fuck?
Are you glad to be out of San Francisco in that sense?
I really am because San Francisco is driving me a little crazy with the lack of seasons, really. Like, it kind of fucked up my sense of time, and the COVID time warp plus that really fucked up my sense of time. Like, I have a really hard time telling how long ago things are right now. Like was that 2 years ago? Was that a year ago? Was that 3 years ago? Like this whole time period is like getting really fucked in my brain. So I'm happy to be back in like a more like a place that like has since you know what time it is of the year. Like, you just look outside and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, we're in it's the end of July. This is exactly what the end of July is like. This is how things look. The weather's like this, and like there's a regularity to the seasonal changes, and the differences amongst them gives like a sort of texture to life, which obviously is like super influential to me. Like, I'm obsessed with the seasons as a concept, as like a metaphysical concept, I guess. So it's nice to have them again, as opposed to like the permanent state. Like, San Francisco is like a little lab for like testing things because it's so stable. Like, where it's like the weather doesn't fluctuate so much. Nothing really fluctuates that much there. So it's sort of like, and like you can't really tell what time of year it is like just by looking around. Like, you're like, what day is it? I'd be like all summer I was like, it's the summer because it's 68 degrees. Like, it's like 65 degrees. Like, it's cold this morning. It's like 50 degrees with the wind, and that shit was driving me insane. I really enjoyed feeling the sun on my skin again. Like, I hadn't felt it for like a year.
Yeah, I feel like people that are going to Miami right now are gonna experience that, but on like a different level, like the endless summer sort of thing. Is just gonna like warp their sense of time.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if it would, if that's like how you grew up. Like, if that's normal for you for it to always be like the same temperature, then like you might be like, oh wow, the seasons are cool, but then you move somewhere that like really has seasons, you're like, oh, I don't like this. I wish it was just warm every day. So I don't know. I think it's like depends on what you are used to.
I grew
But
up in SoCal, and
one
I'm
funny
definitely
thing
ready for seasons.
One funny thing is I don't sweat. Like, after living in Texas, like I don't sweat. I don't sweat like I used to, because like we were going like like when we were in the desert, it was like 105, and I was like, yeah, it's hot. My dad's like, you're not even sweating, and I was like, yeah, it's like this is like like every day in Texas. Like, if I sweat as much as I did the first time I was living life in 100+ degrees, like I'd be looking like a pig right now. But I've adjusted in that way, but now I'm a pussy when it comes to the cold. So I'm gonna get my ass kicked when the winter comes here. I'm gonna be like, oh my god, it's so cold. Perpetua, do you want to say something? I saw you raise your hand. I only got like 2 minutes left here.
Yeah, simple question. Where in Spain would you like to visit?
I want to see like the coasts probably. Like I really would like personally. I want to see like the North Coast. Like God, I had the regional names, but honestly, I like I want to see what it's like. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna feel like at home in Spain or Portugal. I feel like I'm gonna like go there. I'm gonna be like, this is cool. I like this because I've been really I like Spain and Portugal. I like Spanish and Portuguese literature. I like Spanish and Portuguese food, and it's kind of like the other half of the American story is the big America of the Spain and Portuguese in the South. So I want to experience that. I did the Northwestern Europe tour where I saw Dublin, London, Amsterdam, Copenhagen. So I want to see the more like Iberian part. I've been more
Yeah,
interested in that too. Anyway.
you should visit the south, like Sevilla.
Yeah.
You should visit the Alhambra, and there's this specific cathedral called the Mezquita de Cordoba, where it's essentially a mosque that was transformed into a Christian cathedral.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm sure
And
I know that there's gonna be tons of cool shit. Like tons of I know like Spanish architecture is really cool. Especially like I've seen a lot of it. Like I don't know. I wanna check it out, man. I don't even know. Like I'm like more of the I have a vibe and like I'm just gonna follow that like without like too much planning really. My wife's more of the planner, so she's like always like, oh, she's gonna like she wants to know exactly where we want to go. We're gonna have conversations about it, but we're like still talking it through, like what exactly we want to do. But I think I would like it seeing anything. Like you could drop me in like a small town in the fucking mountains of Portugal or whatever, and I'd be like, yeah, this is sick. Like just because I've never experienced it before, and I want to check it out.
Logo,
Like
are
I
you like a
enjoyed
fan of
South Dakota.
are you like a fan of like Pablo Neruda by any
Yeah, I like
chance?
Neruda. I like
Yeah, yeah.
Neruda. I like God, what's his name? I quote him all the time. Fuck. I am so bad at names sometimes. The Portuguese guy who wrote under a million different names. What's his name? Shit.
So,
Pessoa. I love Pessoa. Oh my God, how did I forget Pessoa's name? Ugh. But
there's
I
another
love Pessoa.
poet who I can't remember either, who I really like. He has a lot of like balloon imagery, which I find charming.
I love Latin American literature. Like, maybe like we were originally gonna do like a Latin American tour, but like I don't remember. There's like so many travel restrictions like internationally still that are like hard to navigate. But I'm gonna log off now because I should be able to leave the cell phone lot and pick up my wife like in like 5 minutes or so, and I want to be on point. So, peace out, guys.
Take care, man.